my God. What's up, everybody? I'm Thomas J. Bellezza. Welcome to another episode of the Right Mindset podcast. Today, I have two special guests, and they're special for many reasons, not just because they're adorable little people, but let's get them in here. We have the Kenny and the Booty. He has just come from Snoozetown. He is friends with the Grinch and a few other people. Kenny, why don't you tell the audience a little bit about yourself before we get started?
Hi, everybody. My name is Kenny Murdock. I'm excited to be here on The Right Mindset. I'm a writer, comedian, professional daydreamer.
And Mr. Boots, Booty, why don't you tell the audience a little about your psychosis?
Well, it all started with the 1995 Casper movie. I just something awoken in me when I saw that movie, and since then I've just been fascinated with Stinky the Ghost. Are you familiar with Stinky?
I am. That's the second Casper ghost in the movie.
That's the second one. Do you know the order in which they appear?
Yeah. I now, after you said Casper, I was like, oh my God, that is totally the skinny one.
It's Stinky, yeah.
Yeah.
My it's actually really uncomfortable and hot. But yeah, I'll actually answer the question.
Oh, wait, let me blow you up. Ba-boom!
All right. Here I am. I work on a TV show called Power, Book 3 currently. I've worked on various TV shows in the industry, such as Blue Bloods, a movie called After Yang. Yeah, I don't even remember half of them at this point. I've been doing it about maybe 3 or 4 years now. So.
All right, excellent. I appreciate that ego boost, and I think it was.
I was just saying what happened, man.
Listen, I was the president.
I didn't say that.
And I made love to Salma Hayek. Mere coincidence. I don't want to get into the story, but I happened to be on a date with her. Well, technically it was with Gwyneth Paltrow, but then she showed up.
Yeah. We met at Goop. And
That's just what I do.
You don't know her? You never heard of her store called Goop?
Goop?
Goop. Gwyneth Paltrow owns a brand.
Oh, yeah. It's a vagina juice or something, right?
Vagina juice.
For perfume, right?
For perfume, yeah. But yeah, she's got like storefronts all over now. There's some in the city. It's called Goop.
Well, of course she has the storefronts. No one would put it in their own store.
I guess. Goop.
Probably smells like someone doesn't eat, you know?
I can't imagine. Yeah, it's literally. It's not to go down this tangent, but it literally is like pussy juice, right? Like we're not like.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's a fact. Like you're not even being funny.
I am not making a joke. That's what it is, right?
Yeah, you're not being. It's like literally what it is.
Gwyneth's perfume is made from her vagina.
Vaginas.
Right? Yeah, launches orgasm scented candles. Goop is it smells like my vagina. That's what the appeal is.
Do you think that she went to a factory and was like, listen, you need to get a sense of the smell, and then they ran back some feedback. You're like, does this smell like your pussy? Does this smell like your pussy?
And she's like, yeah, and she was like, this totally smells like the docks over by.
It's so weird. Why would you do that?
Well, she was doing OnlyFans before OnlyFans was a thing by making perfume and putting it in storefronts, you know. Wow. But
beautiful.
I'm gonna make a perfume that smells like my vagina.
Yeah, dude. I'm only mad because I didn't think of it first, to be honest. So, yeah,
whatever. Straight into the atomizer.
Yeah.
Are you angry because you didn't think of making a candle that smelled like Gwyneth Paltrow's vagina?
Yes, exactly. Yeah, specifically that. Yeah, no, I wouldn't do my own. I would want it to smell like Gwyneth's.
Yeah, she was in Shakespeare in Love. Why would I not?
Oh, God, she was.
A movie that I oddly worked on as a in the long day. But
did you work on that?
It's a short story. I don't want to really get into it, but I was having lunch.
You gotta go do it.
No. I was having lunch, and it was just so weird. You know, Shaq was there. I don't want to name drop, and it was so weird because I had to pay for the table because George Clooney forgot his wallet. You know, but
why was Shaq there? That's the part. Now I want to know why Shaq was there.
The 90s.
What was he in Shakespeare in Love? Did I miss that part?
Well,
Everywhere.
you know who was Ben Affleck, who oddly enough, I was just talking to him, sporadically on the phone while I was
Not
taking a
Casey.
poop. No, Casey.
Not Casey. No, we don't talk to him anymore.
No.
No,
That'll bring
no,
up the
no.
final thought. I'll just play with you. I'm just playing. No, I did not work on Shakespeare in Love. But however,
Damn.
that was the second script book I ever bought. The first was Shawshank Redemption. I was like, I want to study the script, so
That's a really good one to start with. To be honest, that's like
Shakespeare in Love or
Shawshank. Shakespeare in
yeah.
Love. I was just about to say I've seen the movie twice and I can't remember a single thing about it. If you put a gun to my head and asked me what happened in that movie, I would say Shakespeare was in love, and that's just.
Well, it's Shakespeare.
Was he even in love? I don't even know.
Yeah, no,
actually.
he was in
I'm
love.
not confident.
The love story inspired Romeo and Juliet because they couldn't be together, and then it ends with being inspired Violet, which turns into the 12th night.
What?
It's a very good movie.
I never made it past the 10th night.
You never made it past the 10th night? Yeah, me neither.
Well, you're old. You need your sleep. But Kenny, I appreciate a lot of the feedback you've been giving to the subjects.
I mean, it's hard to get a word in when we're talking about pussy juice. All right.
Yeah.
I've never experienced Gwyneth Paltrow's pussy juice. I couldn't comment.
We're not fucking with you. It's like
No, I know.
Like she's the weirdo. We're just talking about it.
Yeah, this show is not getting sponsored, but
brought to you by Goop, dude. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm going for the Goop bucks, dude.
If I can get the Goop bucks, I won't mind that it's not going to get monetized. But
Goop bucks.
That's what I'm going to try. I'm going to. Hey, Gwyneth, we were talking about your
hoo-ha. Big Gwyneth Paltrow Goop money, man.
You need some Goop. Booty, we're going to need you to either get closer to the mic or set up a little bit more volume because you sound more like you're in a hallway than.
All right, block out that fucking face.
How about this?
That's perfect.
Just block my mouth.
Yeah. If you want to show your face more, that'd be great too. But we can hear you now, clear.
I'll figure it out.
Yeah, I mean,
all right, we'll work it out. I'll raise my volume a little bit.
All right. Yeah, because we want to be able to hear you. Now we don't want to hear hey, what is he going down the hallway? He's running away from George Clooney.
How about now? Am I like stupidly loud?
No, but bring it back a little bit. Let's see what we got. Bring it down.
All right. Yeah, how about that?
Too far.
Much too far. All right, we'll go like right here. How about that?
So, Kenny, tell me about it. What's going on?
I can't hear myself. I don't know. You got it.
We can't really. You sound like you're in a hall, and we haven't fed you in 3 days.
Yeah. All right. Well,
it sounds good when you bring it a little closer, but maybe you could do like an angle down, up. Like you see how my mic is just
How about this?
Yeah. Oh my God! Thank you.
There we go. I figured it out. All right, I figured it out.
Hey, he's a locations guy in the industry, not a sound guy.
Yeah. I'm not a fucking sound guy. I don't know what to tell you.
Locations. I don't know where the mic goes.
Sounds so good.
If anything, I regularly upset the sound crew. That's just like our job.
That was. Listen. Hey, look. I get it.
Goop. Anyway, back to Goop.
That's still the Goopster.
Back to the Goop Cup.
So I got a question I want to throw out to give to both of you. We'll let Kenny answer first, and Booty, you'll get the same question. I just kind of want to start a conversation about it.
Sure.
So the question is, and I'm going to read it. Do you believe that the rise of self-publishing has led to... Oh, wait, that's not it. Sorry. I apologize.
You lied.
Yeah, that was bad on me. Okay, here. Question. Can you discuss any controversial or taboo subjects that you feel are important to explore in literature, and how do you approach writing about such subjects? Kenny.
Well, I mean, there's always the taboo subject of race. You could always wander down a treacherous path talking there, because especially if you're talking about something you don't really have an experience with, you come off very ignorant. So I suppose you would just probably just have to make sure you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's, and make sure you're not talking about anything a little too off base or something that you don't have a little point of reference from.
Yeah, but more importantly, is that a conversation or a taboo subject that you feel is important to explore in literature?
Well,
Racism, I believe that's what you brought up.
well, I mean, at the end of the day, the books are what will, survive the ancient texts.
The ancient texts of
So you kind of gotta,
Kindle.
you always have to keep the conversation going, and I
Well-
feel like telling a story is a great way to convey an experience somebody may have had.
Well, since you brought up racism, though, is that something that you feel is a controversial or taboo subject that should be discussed in literature? And is that something you make an effort to do when you write? I know you write books, scripts, and humorous jokage. You
Yeah.
write jokes for stand-up. So does that mean that racism is something that you make a conscious decision on when exploring your material?
Well, there's always especially when I'm on stage or I'm telling a joke, and I always come to that crossroad of, do I do the accent or not? So it's like, can I get this joke across without, unlike the way the Indian guy sounded that made me laugh.
Well, you could always throw a cigarette out the window. Of the
I really wasn't I wasn't trying to make a nod to the conversation we had before this one. It actually organically got there.
Well, I guess what I'm asking is racism something, because you brought it up, so is that something that you personally, because the question is, can you discuss any controversial or taboo subjects that you feel are important to explore in literature? And if so, how do you approach it? And you brought up racism, so I'm trying to get, what is it about racism that is important to you to explore in literature? It's about you and your presentation to the taboo subjects.
Right. Well,
it doesn't have to be racism, but you brought it up and you're answering it as a third person.
Yeah, I just wish I answered the question differently, I guess, at this point.
You're locked in on talking about racism, dude.
You can change the subject and go back to, two guys in a cup, whatever. What is it?
Two girls, one cup, Thomas.
Not if Kenny's doing it.
Not if, yeah, that's true.
Look, you got to appreciate.
Not after tonight.
Yeah. Kenny?
Shit, man. I don't know. I've lost everything. Everything's lost at this point.
Well, let's go to Boody. Boody. By the way, his name is Thom Boody, but we just call him by his last name because we love him.
My preferred name, to be honest.
Yeah, the Boots. Boody.
The Boots.
So same question, can you discuss any controversial or taboo subjects that you feel are important to explore in literature, and how do you approach writings about said subjects?
Well, I'm going to answer the second part first because that's a little easier. I think what Kenny said was pretty accurate. If you're going to talk about something taboo or, something that maybe is not on the cultural forefront of, any conversations at the moment, you're going to want to make sure you really know what you're talking about. To go off of Kenny's example, if you want to do a story about racism, you should really get to know your subject matter. It's not something you want to just spit out a script for, because as a writer, it's always best to the best stories are the ones that you're the most informed about. So, if I were to write a story about, this is a pretty soft example, a fisherman village. I've never fished. I've never been to a
very
fisherman
controversial
village.
as well.
Yeah, no, it's not controversial, but I'm gonna piggyback off. Yeah, it's not controversial, but if I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, I'm gonna look like an asshole. And also it's gonna, my experience, my research, my knowledge, the conversations I have with people that maybe we'll say are from this village or whatever, they are going to inform my story, and that's going to help me tell the better story. So if you are going to do something taboo, again, say, we're going off of this example, you want to tell a story about racism, you're really going to have to understand, what that is, what that means to people that experience it. You're going to really have to step into, their minds, the minds of the people that are racist. And you're going to want to be as authentic and honest and respectful as you can.
Do you have a fear that through research you will discover a kinship to the taboo.
Oh, this is a trick question. Yeah, I'm afraid every time, I get really method. So, whenever I'm writing a racist character, it's just,
Nazis,
man.
See,
I have a good point or two. The highways were pretty cool.
There was a lot of engineering at the time.
Yeah, they were. Say what you will, but those rockets were crazy. Yeah.
like a Volkswagen, safest car there is.
Yeah, no, it's not like that. But yeah, I would say, to answer the first part of the question, I don't know if there really is a subject that you shouldn't write about. You know what I mean? I don't think there's anything it's so taboo you can't discuss it. I mean, like, I've read stories about just about every fucked up thing you could think of. It's really just like, what is the point of the story? If you're writing about a taboo subject for the sake of like shocking or, freaking people out, okay, depending on what it is, maybe that's okay. But I would say generally,
so Get Out was not a good movie for you because they wrote it purposefully to shock. Is that what you just said on this?
Well, okay. I will say, I would say they use shock to elicit like an understanding, of in that movie's case, it's sort of about what would you call it? I guess like liberal racism. You know what I mean? It was like that's something that is not really talked about or discussed. That's not. I would say it's something that's not on the cultural forefront. So, although I don't,
the mirror was turned on society.
Yeah, exactly. So I would say that's actually a great example. That's a movie that, it was shocking and, like crazy, but, it was trying to draw attention to something. Whereas a movie that, I think a good example, the opposite is something like The Human Centipede 2 specifically, because it's just why.
That was a romantic movie.
A romantic movie. Like I didn't see the first one, but I kind of get that it's like, it's about like just people just being so dehumanized that they just become objects. But like a second one, or even like, the 20th or, like the upteenth Saw movies, at a certain point, it's just like, are we using these taboo subjects to, draw attention to something or tell a meaningful story? Or are we doing it because people want to see fucked up shit?
Yeah, and the first Saw, it really gave us a chance to look at our own decisions, our own choices. And, it had a really interesting twist, but it was also really about, what are we doing in our own lives and and stuff like so. But then the second one was just, hey, gore.
Like people like the gore part. They don't care about the introspection and, like the value of a life. And but that's the thing is I think taboo, any taboo thing you could think of, as long as it informs a story, like there's some kind of narrative purpose or some kind of message you want to get across. I think that's fine,
And is that, do you make that choice when writing? Like, do you make a purposeful decision to be like, these are subjects that I feel need to be discussed. They just so happen to be controversial and taboo, or do you come up with a story? And you're like, well, I like the story. It just so happens the story touches on these things. Like, do you have a process? Do you lean towards like, hey, this is controversial. Let me touch on that. It's important.
I'd say I'd lean more towards the second of those scenarios, but I have also there's been times where I've wanted to tell a specific like I wanted to draw attention to a specific thing. This is a very arbitrary example, but one time in college, I made a PSA on like male rape specifically. That's something that like
that's
not a lot of people. It's not. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's what everyone told me.
Because it's only men raping men, so it doesn't count.
Well, it could be either way. Either way, it was something that like a lot of people gave me a lot of flack for that. So for me, like that felt like a taboo thing I needed to push on. It was like. Like why is this treated so differently than other similar things? So that like I would say that was the first example of what you're saying. Like I wanted to tell a story about that, but normally it's like I'll just make shit up and I'm like, oh, this is fucked up, and then I kind of have to justify it after the fact.
Yeah, and if I may, I think the response that you got because of that subject may not have been your initial interest to write it, but it proved the point. And made it like this. Yeah, this needs to be talked about. Because
it was crazy. I'm not lying. Like I made my pitch. The teacher laughed at me. Like imagine it was like that. It was like, are you serious? That's not a real issue. And the whole class laughed. I'm like, okay, well, I guess I now I have to. I just wanted to do it. Now I'm like, this is fucked up. I feel like I have to do this now. So that's crazy. He just laughed at me.
It's like rape men.
He was like, he said that's not a real thing. And I was like, okay.
Did you tell him about Gwyneth Paltrow's candles?
Not yet. Unfortunately, that she was still in the process of developing that. It wasn't. We weren't there yet.
Do you have anything to add to that, Kenny, or you just want to play audience?
Seems to be the case here. Anything to add to that? No, I think Tom pretty much nailed it.
We blow you up, so you have to talk a little bit.
Yet. No, I think he fleshed out what I was trying to say, I think, pretty accurately, just in the sense of not coming off, ignorant about it and making sure there's a purpose to telling the story.
Yeah, but, I would really like to get it out of you, though. Are you someone who looks at certain topics and they end up being controversial or taboo, and you say, you know what, I think I want to talk about these things either through comedy or my literature or is it something you're conscious about?
You're talking to somebody who used to count down the days to John Benet Ramsey's birthday, so I mean,
you used to.
Yeah, used to.
I still have to look at it every year.
But initially it started as just like a fucked up joke, because it was just, and then it kind of just was like, why is John Benet Ramsey still on tabloid newspapers, but we still haven't figured out who killed her? It was 1995. Like we're more obsessed with the pageantry behind it and everything than actually finding out what the hell happened to her. And I think that's when it just kind of jumped the shark for me, and it was just like, whoa, I made a joke, but like, why are my like, and why does anybody find that funny?
Yeah.
I know why I do, but why do you?
All right. Is that the example? Is that something that you? But again, you didn't make a conscious decision until you realized the humor of how ridiculous it was. But I mean, you do stand-up comedy, and you have jokes that utilize gay characters but aren't about gay people. Was that like, did you think, oh, it would just be funny to be like, well, they're gays, but it's really about gun control and like how gun happy America is? Or like, how did you approach that joke when writing it? What was your purpose?
I just think the specifically behind that joke was kind of just like just the absurdity at which people will go to, like one thing to them is absurd, but another thing like totally isn't, like in the sense of like, like people like, I can't believe it's 2023 and, gay people, people are like, gay people shouldn't get married still. That's weird to me. So when I think of that, but then somebody goes, oh, I have no problem with them getting married, but maybe they shouldn't own guns. Like there's just this, I hate to be like Chris Rock said it recently in his special, but like selective outrage, just like what you choose to be mad about is really, I guess, what that spoke to is just, it's just weird to me that you would like be, you'll be okay with that, but you wouldn't be okay with this. And it's all social issues,
And why don't you feel gays should get married? No.
Well, it's just, they're just so fabulous. They do it so much more fabulous.
They make me look bad, Thomas.
Yeah. No. I have a friend who was like, I don't think gays should get married, and I was like, but you are gay, and he's like, yeah, I don't feel comfortable with that kind of commitment to anybody. There was always this wall of potential to escape, and now they can put a ring on it.
So they don't want to get married, so they feel that no gay people should get married.
Well, if nobody can get married, he has a good. It's like, well, I love to marry you.
Well, I can't. Oh God, this fucked up world we lived in. I see. Oh, I get it now.
Yeah. But wow, he has like boyfriends all over the place, and like he's
that's next level.
Yeah.
You're like, I'd love to get committed to you, but it's just
I want it. I mean, we have the ring, but it's not for the finger.
That damn Supreme Court.
Let's go pick it.
Testify on behalf of it.
I got to work that day. Aren't you retired? Oh, Jesus, it's hot out. Kenny, do you believe heterosexuals should be allowed to be married?
No, I think they should be allowed to get married. and should be allowed to own guns.
My favorite thing about bringing up marriage, especially in like because like when I write stories, I touch on the opposite sides of real. I like to show healthy relationships and healthy departures of relationships and healthy variations of relationships from your mono to your poly to your hetero or homosexual relationships. Like I like to explore healthy versions of those, but I also like to show the darker side of what relationships do. But when I talk about marriage, sometimes, like people get very sensitive about it. Going back to it's not controversial per se when it comes to just marriage in general, but the idea that marriage has a fundamental purpose, and you try to explain to people, you go, no, marriage is an institution that was designed for control and trade. And
preach, brother. Preach.
That's what I'm saying, right? And they're like, no, it's about love. And you're like, not when land is being given and a tithe and some sheep and even the Native Americans, they were like, let's have a unity. Let's combine, your daughter, my son, whatever,
Tom, let's tear this institution down.
Do it.
All
I'm
right,
not trying to tear anything down, but
tear it down.
It's interesting when I bring it up in story. That's what they attack it to defend. Like, no, it's about love, and it's like it doesn't matter if it's for love for you. Enjoy it, but there is, Speaking of, what are your thoughts on that? Let's go to Boody first. What are your thoughts on that concept in writing when it comes to what I basically explained?
What you basically explained. Well, I think even outside of, you're using the example of, basically showing good relationships, bad relationships. What you're describing is pretty much, honestly, the essence of writing in general. Oftentimes in stories, we create characters that show, like what we believe to be a good way of doing things. And, then we'll make unfortunate characters that tend to, do the opposite. A lot of times those are the villains or antagonists or something like that. I think that's a great way to approach storytelling in general. If you really think about it, any good story anyway, usually has a, I say the word moral, but people tend to be like, even though it's what it is. Every story in essence is a morality play. Yeah. And it may not be like a
social morality.
Yeah, social. Yeah, it might not be as grand as like be good or don't have sex before marriage, but
what?
It could what?
We gotta go.
Could be, what was that? It could be something as simple as like like you want to show maybe like a healthier work environment or something like that. Typically any good story wants to show you something. It wants to show you a better way to live. Or conversely, if you want to be more ambiguous, a lot of them might, just kind of try to raise questions in you. Maybe they don't show, maybe it's an issue that doesn't really have a good right or wrong answer. So they kind of bring up both points and challenge both. So, like it leaves you with a sense of like, what do I think is right? So I would say to piggyback on what I just said, a good story either it teaches you something or challenges your preconceived notions, Hey, it could be through the taboo too. Like you said, that's a great way to bring it back to that. It's a great way of challenging people, Yeah,
you're challenging a moral that might not be too controversial, but it turns into it because people have such strong feelings about marriage or I mean, I get it all.
A fucking landmine without realizing, You're like,
like when I talk about poly, people are like, "Oh, I don't want to share. It's disgusting." What about love? Aren't you scared of falling in love? Yeah, that's the point. Like you want to fall in love with other, But Kenny, I'm throwing it to you. Oh, what do you want to say, Boody? Did you want to?
I was gonna say, like, I hate when people get weird about that. It's like, like no one says you have to do it. Yeah. It's like just because you're saying it doesn't mean that, like, well, now I have to fuck your wife. It's like no, it's just like you do what you gotta do. I do what I gotta do. It's like I don't. That's how like even with like. We were talking like, gay marriage and stuff, all that. Like, it's like, who fucking cares? Like, no one's saying you have to do it.
Your words affected me. I'm
oh God! If it existed, I have to do it. No, what?
Doesn't work that. I don't do crack, and people.
Yeah, exactly. It's like just because you legalize crack, that doesn't mean that you're gonna become a crackhead.
Like, I don't smoke weed, and it's very legal now.
Oh, it's legal. Fuck, I gotta start smoking now.
Gay marriage?
Yeah, it makes no fucking sense, dude. I don't get that. That's a weird. Yeah, it's a whole other thing.
I mean, marriage is legal, and I will never do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I have to do it. You know, like,
it's legal. I have to do everything that's legal.
yeah, which is crazy because I don't even have a license. Anyway,
who fucking cares?
Kenny, would you like to add to the topic?
I forgot what it was.
We were just talking about it.
We kind of went on a bit of a
very legal
there.
where you are.
No, it's not. It's very illegal.
Is it?
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, interesting. All right.
Where are you at?
Georgia.
Georgia. Yeah, well,
Georgia.
it's illegal to smoke weed, but you can marry your second cousin. Oh no, your first cousin, right?
You were gonna say sister. Admit it. You were gonna say sister.
I don't have a sister, but if I, all right, so,
Fine if I did.
it's illegal, so I actually want to do it more. If it became legal, I'd be like, I don't want it. Do it.
She's old news now.
Where's the thrill? To sum it up, basically, writing about relationships and taking point of views or moral stances on certain ideas and placing them into your stories or what you write. What are your feelings on that?
Especially in stand-up, I feel like that's all I do. I feel like especially with stand-up, it's all one-sided there. No input went into my jokes. It's all how I feel. That I'm presenting something up there and I'm rolling the dice and hoping that more than 50% of the audience can relate to it. You know what I mean? Like, So I'm not really. But you can't really cater to the other side because the whole finding your voice thing, and you want to stay true to yourself. But that almost also makes it very tough because sometimes through stand-up, I found out I was kind of a dickhead. Like I was like some of the ways I thought were kind of really super duper archaic and like like really dumb, ignorant things that I used to say.
Yeah.
Like, for example.
Let me get a pen and paper. Someone record this. Is this recording?
Is this controversial?
No.
You're so controversial and brave, Kenny. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
People with hair.
I say all the things. Like, I used to think, women shouldn't have sex with a lot of dudes. Like I used to think that was like women were slutty for doing that. And a lot of my jokes used to be about how like it was cool that I had sex with a lot of girls, but it was like really demeaning to the women in that sense. Like it was just like, okay, well, they're allowed to have sex drives too, Kenny. Like
what?
Yeah, I know. It's you
not according to the Bible.
From age 14 to 28, I'd be like, what? No. What?
You got to stay a virgin to become a wife.
No, yeah, their comment is just.
Is that why you had sex with so many women so you could knock them off the board so they can never get married? Was that what you were doing?
Yeah, that's pretty much just sullying them forever.
Yeah. This is my payback from when I was ugly in school.
Yeah, it's definitely nothing to do with validation and filling voids.
Yeah. No.
That's cool though. I like that. Like, it's interesting that like you kind of found that through stand up too. It's cool that like, not only can stories teach, or stories or stand up in this case can, teach an audience, new perspectives or new understandings, but also as the storyteller, we can learn a lot from our own stories. Yeah. I've personally found that like in the process of telling a story, I've just been like, oh shit, I'm completely changed my mind on a thing, while writing it. It's like weird. It's almost in the process of breaking it all down. Like you're forced to confront your own thoughts, on the world or other people and other things like that. So I think it's awesome that, your stand-up led to positive change in your life.
Well, almost bringing it back to it was a joke, but like you're basically giving a foundation where it's like, oh, you're researching like racism, and you're like, are you afraid that you're going to discover like a kinship to it? But to put it into perspective, that's what happens when we write. Because we have to do so much research and we have to study, not for racism, but in general, like, again, if you're looking at poly relationships and you're trying to write about them and you're not poly, but then you do these deep dives, you interview people, there's a chance that we discover our truths that, wow, I didn't realize I related with this. Or, they're like imagine you were like Bill Maher. And Bill Maher did deep dive into religion. What was it? Religionists or whatever. The movie about how religion's all fake, right?
Right.
But imagine you were highly religious and you sought out to prove religion was real, and you ended up researching it the same way Bill Maher did. There's a chance that by the end of your research, you might find yourself questioning faith.
Sure.
And I think that's an interesting element of being a writer, is that almost if we're not to the point where we're questioning our positions through these characters and these conflicts and these moral dilemmas, what are we really writing? Like, are we really challenging ourselves as writers if we're just writing stuff that comes out so easily? It's just, this is what I believe and this is the truth. You know, I personally think sometimes you have to challenge yourself and attack topics or subjects that are slightly outside your purview.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I 100% agree with that. I think, you know, like I was saying, I think as people, we tend to feel that, like, at a certain point when you get to a certain age, you feel like, I got it all figured out, but it's what's awesome about seeing a storyteller is that, we kind of like, you can almost like trick ourselves into like learning about new things or, gaining new perspectives, because like if you want to tell a good story, you have to do a ton of research. You have to like, whether if you maybe not speak to people, but you have to get other perspectives, whether through books or videos or movies, you have to challenge yourself if you want to tell a good story. Otherwise, you're just gonna be doing this. No, you're gonna be like Michael Bay.
Yeah, If you don't do your research to understand subjects, you'll create shows like Manifest. So.
You want me to? I'll get the shirt. I still got the drip, dude. Speaking of what was the like? Did you ever find out like what was going on in that show? Because I have a hat. Like we had the theory, like my department, we had the theory that it was all aliens. So I literally have a hat that has like an alien spaceship on it, and if I like wear it around, people were like, "Oh my god, was it aliens?" I was like, "No, I don't fucking know, dude."
It's religious.
I never watched that stupid show.
It follows the because in Christianity, there's the idea of, or Catholicism, that people are connected. Like you have it's I think it's like based on the idea that we are messengers of faith. But I didn't get past the third episode, so
you got further than I did. I haven't watched a single fucking episode. I would just watch. Like they'd be like on set. I just watch, and I will never forget this. To the day I die, they were filming a scene where like the captain, he's like flying through a storm. He's literally being like, "How do I make the dark lightning happen?" Like he just like steals a plane, and he's like, "I'm going into the fucking storm," and literally the writer of that episode and the director were just fucking cracking up in Video Village, just like laughing at their own shit, And I see the director, she's like,
"It's supposed to be serious. It's a drama."
This is like, oh god, the writer was like, he literally said, "This sucks." It's like, it's a paycheck. But that was so funny to me, that just like seeing these people like in this, like they have an awesome job, they get to tell stories, but it's not the one they want to tell.
Yeah, this is like, it's a paycheck.
It's a paycheck. It's a nice paycheck, but it's a paycheck.
Yeah, absolutely. And you could get a first-time writer writing a script is going to see $35,000 for a script. So
yeah, they're going to go, yes, I'll write the Human Centipede 3. I absolutely will.
Well, film I think is a little bit more on the writer's but
yeah.
Kenny, what about you? Have you? Wait. Kenny's over there. So what are you browsing the internet? The lights changing on his face. What are you talking to me?
The Pornhub icons on your forehead. I can see the reflection.
He's entranced by OnlyFans. All right,
OnlyFans, yes.
So, Kenny, have you worked on something that you were writing, either jokes or like a story? And I know this conversation kind of stemmed from the discovery of self, but where you had a strong stance on something, and then after you did your research and developed the idea or the story or the joke, that you changed your stance on said subject?
No, I'm not very self-reflective. I kind of just come to a point where I've made a
Based.
decision on something. No, I've never actually set out to actively write anything because, like I said, I just keep it close to what I know. I don't know if I've ever tackled anything that really needed opinion changing afterwards. To be honest with you, no.
And most of your stories are about cow tipping, right?
Yeah. Like I said, you stick to what you know, man.
Isn't it like impossible? I heard like it's really you can't fucking tip a cow. They're so heavy. I heard it's like people fucking lying, and I've never tried.
It's a purported activity of sneaking up on unexpected cows.
Purported.
Yeah, the practice of cow tipping is generally considered an urban legend, and stories of such feats viewed as tall tales.
Yeah. Do you know how heavy cows like 2,000 fucking pounds? What, you think you're gonna just push it over?
I think the idea is that they're sleeping standing up,
Yeah.
but I also believe they sleep laying down. Like horses will sleep standing or laying, but if they're standing, like weak legs.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's just gonna get back up, or like one, if you touch it, it's gonna freak out and kick you in the fucking head. They're not just gonna stand there and let you push them over. I'm telling you, it's bullshit. It's bullshit. That's gonna be my next subject matter.
Well, I'm just
gonna break the myth of cow tipping.
But it was already
gonna be done. Huh?
It has been disproven.
Myth busted.
Yeah, it's an urban legend, and a cow tipping, they explain, is not real or even possible.
Can you imagine being one of the think about how many people lied about that? You know what I mean? Like,
well, they were sleeping with their cousins and sisters.
Me and my bros used to go out and tip cows, and you never did it.
You know what they used to do?
What a weird thing to lie about, right? Like of all the things you could lie about, why cow tipping?
Yeah. It's not even like. It's one of those things where you go, I have zero value to add to this conversation. So
it's not exciting. It's not cool. Yeah. You're just like, oh, you pushed over a cow. Awesome, dude.
Yeah, you didn't see it coming. Yeah,
you're fucked up. You're fucked up.
I have seen people in Florida when I used to live there a long time ago, and sporadically through my life, where they would challenge crocodile to get them to jump out of the water. Because usually they wouldn't like run after you; they would just do the jump out of the water and then
they want you to go away. It's like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I was like, maybe you shouldn't do that.
They slap it on the nose.
Yeah. So I stopped. Like I was like, I gotta get.
Did you ever get your head in there?
You can do that if you're dumb.
Yeah.
I don't do anything if the fun to life risk ratio is not worth it.
Does that? You ever see that? I don't know why. I'm obsessed with this. I'm gonna say it's one of my favorite movies now. You remember the movie Wild Things from the 90s? That movie fucking rules. Number one. And number two, there's a scene where they have like these like they have like 5 or 4, it's maybe like 3 different sequences with a guy just fucking around with an alligator. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
They just have this dude, he like takes his teeth out, he's like, and he's like got his head in an alligator mouth, and he's like slapping it on the nose. And it's like, why is this in the movie? It's nothing to do with anything. He's just fucking around with an alligator.
Pretty wild.
It's pretty wild.
It was pretty wild. Okay,
I guess it was trying to draw the you'll fuck around in a dangerous situation, you're gonna get bit, but he got away with it. He was fine.
My favorite thing is when they shot the Bigfoot at the end, and then they're like having a conversation. Like, did he seem like he was like asking? Because all he did was go, "Hey," and they shot him, but they thought.
So what movie are you talking? That's not Wild Things. Are you
Wild Things?
No, you're making it up, dude. I've watched this movie like 10 times. Maybe it's a different. Wild Things is the one with
Bigfoot.
You thinking of Harry and the Hendersons?
No, that gets shot at the end. It's something like Wild Things.
No, Wild Things is the one with Denise Richards. They live in Florida. She's like a wealthy heiress, and then she accuses Matt Dillon of like molesting her. And then another girl.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. You're talking about the famous threesome.
The threesome movie, yeah.
I'm talking about Strange Wildness. My bad.
I gotta check that out. I'll watch that.
The trailer looks terrible, but there's this one scene with a shark, and it has like buck teeth. It's a real shark, but it's like the shark that has the buck teeth,
Yeah.
And they're doing like a voiceover of like, you know how they do is like the blue fish is known for traveling, but then that shark comes on and go, and this shark, oh my god, look at its teeth. Yeah.
I wonder what kind of shark
they're
it
making
is.
the shark laugh like and it's just visually so funny. And I was like, maybe I'll see it just because of that. But it's so their show is going to be thrown off the air. That's the premise because it's
they
so
have like
bad.
a wildlife show, like it's
it's a wildlife
yeah.
show that was like kind of given to them. It was
Yeah.
so, and they discover that there's a potential for Bigfoot. Someone actually can show them Bigfoot, so they go out to find Bigfoot, but they have all these like
throw
automatic
that Bigfoot
weapons
Hail
and everything.
Mary.
And the Bigfoot just like walks out and he's like, hey, and they're like, ah, they just shoot the hell out of him, and then they're running, and but then like the next scene is them going, do you think was he asking a question? Like they're just
Yeah, like after they start processing it all. That's actually really funny. that's very you just like this little fucked up. You get away from it, then you're like, all right, now I gotta let me roll back the tape on that.
they didn't even film it though. They just ran away. It was so funny.
Oh my god, I gotta check that out. But yeah, Wild Things though. Let me tell you, that movie. That movie is fucking hilarious. I'm obsessed with it.
Well, Bill Murray's in it, so that's
Bill Murray. Dude, Bill Murray was Saul Goodman before Saul Goodman. He's literally just Saul Goodman. It's awesome.
Yeah.
He could have had his own movie. He was such a funny with his fucking neck brace, you know.
I hear Denise Richards was actually enjoyed the threesome, but the other girl was like, "No, I'm gonna leave my shirt on it. Like I don't want anyone to."
Yeah, you don't see any nipplage on her. It's all Denise Richards was like naked the whole fucking movie.
Yeah, she was like, "Let's do this."
She didn't give a shit.
Yeah,
she's got OnlyFans now too.
Does she?
Yeah, look it up.
What is it like? How do
I just know she has it.
Breast implants look like at age 70?
I don't know. Her daughter made one, so she was inspired. Yeah. All right. Now I'm looking it up. Yeah, her daughter made one. So I think like she was inspired. Denise Richards just doesn't give a shit, you know what I mean?
Oh my
like
God.
she's just like fuck it. I'll people everyone already saw my titties, I guess. So whatever.
I have an OnlyFans, but it's just me. It's just me in different outfits. It's like I'll start off with my underwear, and then I'll hold up like pants, and I'll be like, "I'm going to buy car today," and then I'll.
you got to send me that, man. I got to get on that, man. I got to get on the ground floor on that one.
Kenny, do you feel if you had an OnlyFans as per the standard that it is today, not what it was originally made for, do you feel you could make some money on the OnlyFans?
I had an idea called Dick for $1. And if you send me $1, I'll put a tag on my dick with a number. So like you would buy 001, and then Booty would buy 002, and you just send me $1, and I'll send you a dick for $1. There's also dick dioramas where I'd put my dick into like famous movie scenes.
Amazing. Dude, this is great. You got to get this going. You basically made NFTs before NFTs.
I really did. I really
with
did.
your penis.
Yeah.
NFTs.
Except they're way better. Listen, that's something that's worth.
You're not NFTs. They're NFDs.
NFDs, nuts, baby.
I tried to get. I got a guy to quote me on like 4 dioramas, and he was like $4,000, and I was like, no.
and then that was the end of that.
More than $1.
Yeah, that was it.
What about you, Booty? Because you have some crazy ideas. You think you can make some money on the OnlyFans as it's traditionally known for?
Okay, we're talking about like the true tradition or the
what like what it does,
like showing my dick and stuff, like the dick dioramas.
Listen, I'm not saying the I gotta forget what the Mexican wrestlers are called, but the troubadours.
Troubadours. You're talking about luchadors. Troubadours are the guys with the fucking. Oh yeah. They have like the hats and weird. You're a troubadour. Get your troubadour facts right. All right. So yeah, I probably could. Would I want to? No. Like I feel like I wouldn't be the like people aren't. Googling my name to find my OnlyFans, let's be honest. But, if I really wanted to, I bet I could carve a niche, something like that. I probably made a couple bucks.
You and Rich should think about that.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think you and me, we need to have a conversation about it.
I think our OnlyFans would just be disappointed looks. It would always be in, like, like, you know, insinuated like we're both naked and about to be with someone, but then every video is just, you know, like from here up, like a mid shot, us naked looking, and just us looking down, like.
Just disappointed. I was gonna say mine. I think all my videos would just be all role play about me getting erectile dysfunction. Yeah. So it's like you never see my dick, but I'm always just like, all right, just one more second, just one more second. This never happens.
So you want to make it
never happen to me? And I start crying. You know, like
my mom said I was the best. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, I'm just laughing.
I swear I'm a fist length.
This will work. This will work. It's not gonna work. It's working. Just give it a second.
It's not you. It's just there's no AC. It's hot in here.
That's every video. I'm sure that would someone would fucking subscribe to that.
Bro, if you don't do that,
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that.
Oh my god, that would be the best.
That's all for you. That one's for Kenny. Kenny take that one. You can do it as dick for dollars. In addition to that,
you wouldn't see any nudity in yours. It would just be implied. So that would be like cinematic humor.
I would still tell him if I had the time to fucking film that. There's a whole laundry list of other things I'd rather be doing. It's funny to say, but for me to dedicate time and effort to make that would be fucking nuts.
The fucked up part is that's going to be most successful for you. All the
I know, man.
Especially if you use
I guess I just don't want it enough. That's what we're saying. Yeah. If I really wanted, I would have just be, come on! 1 hour of man failing to get erection.
That sounds like
then I'm in a chair, just give me a minute. Just give me a minute.
And then you just cut to like a girl's like, you know, face, and she goes, you know, I'm okay with you just spitting in my mouth.
She just texted. She's on her phone. And I'm just like, what? So, I didn't say anything. What?
I'm diabetic.
I'm diabetic. My blood sugar's low.
I ate too much Jello.
I wonder. Yeah, if you had too much Jello, I feel like I could contribute to something. I feel like it wouldn't help. That's for sure.
All right, so Kenny, you and I think we got something here. We can take this and go. Well, anyway, I guess let's talk a little bit about writing.
Nah, fuck that, man. Let's talk about
it. Kenny, and look, I know you like the long-winded talk. So, have you been working on anything recently, writing-wise, and what has inspired you to write?
No, I mean it's just the way it goes. You've probably asked me to do this during my biggest like writing drought in a very, very long time.
Mm-hmm. And what is a drought?
just you know, nothing's happening, nothing sticks, nothing seems good.
Well, what do you like? What do you like to write about?
Well, I think I most prominently write really depressing rap songs.
And well, that's something.
Dude.
And after a while,
you got any?
Yeah, can you give us a lyric?
Dude, drop a fucking bar.
Yeah, no.
Give us eight bar. Give us
don't do that right now.
Come on.
No, come on,
don't
dude.
push me. Come on.
No, it's been so long. I think it's not like a lost thing. It's just like
next time, come in. Can you do it? Can you do an intro? Just like come in hot.
Yeah, coming in hot.
Yeah.
Can you just do the end of Godzilla for us?
That's it.
I wish I could write fucking. I'm not good with lyrics. That's like one thing I've never. I don't know why. It just like it doesn't make sense to me. Like how to like write a lyrical structure. I guess I don't really have any music to accompany it. So I don't know. That's like one thing I don't really know. That's like one area where I'm just like I don't know. I don't really know how to do it.
I have
the least about it. I'm sure.
Lyrics? What do you mean? How do I could do a limerick.
Hell yeah.
Are you working on anything, Boody?
Yeah. I got a couple things going on, but the one thing that I'm most excited for right now is
it's OnlyFans channel.
It's my OnlyFans. Speaking of, it's called Dig for $1. Yeah. No. So it's like. I've been working on kind of like a very like a soft role playing system. It's not like like a D&D thing. It's not like super rules heavy. It's more of like a puts more of an emphasis on, you know, like just the role playing with not many rules or anything like that. But I guess the basic premise is that you all play as children, and you're yeah. Is that weird? All right, well, let's
I
hear
have
it.
fantasies and I need to play them out.
I need to work it out, Tom. No, it's not
Johnny,
like
the
that.
athletic kid that plays soccer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The DM is the adult, and the players are children.
Yeah, well, no. Let me finish. All right, that's it. My idea is scrapped. I'm gonna make the ED porn now. No. It's not like that. No, it's like it's more like a traditional grim fairy tale kind of thing, or like, you know, like a story, something like It. You know, the basic premise is that you are pursued by something. You know, it's like a monster. It could be like a guy. It doesn't. It could be. Yeah, it could be. But you're kind of small and weak. And
yes, they are.
Yeah, you have to. Jesus God, I just want to let you know you're the one making it weird. All right. Yeah, you're trying to put words in my mouth, but you're the one saying all the
little
weird
feetsies running.
little feetsies. No, at no point did I say that.
Very little rolling. It's all role play.
All right, they're all about big, strong adults. All right, everyone's adult.
And
Everyone's
I'm the child.
I am the child. Yeah.
So it's
But yeah,
not a complex system. It's just
No, it's really the core concept behind the you know, obviously playing children or like teenagers or, you know, people who aren't fully grown. The core concept is that your character sheet is your story. You know, of course, it's all very abstract right now, so I can't really, you know, like give too much specific. But the general idea is, say your kid is brave, but also like stupid or clumsy. Those like traits, you know, that would inform your role playing also are your abilities, you know, and you could basically push on those, you know, those aspects or be hindered by them. Like if you're clumsy, that might not work out for you, you know, all the time. If you're brave, that might help in certain situations.
Are there participation trophies?
No. Either you actually no. It's very harsh. Either you succeed or you fail. And if anyone dies, it's like a game over basically.
That's still cool though, because you have a huge history when it comes to game systems and playing games. And I was only making jokes because, you know, entertainment, but I think it's pretty cool that you're taking the time to create a pedophile. I mean, no.
I knew it. I was waiting. I was like, where are you gonna?
No. But honestly, I think if anyone's gonna create a game and understanding mechanics, I think you're the one who's gonna find the right combination between actual mechanics and. Is it die heavy? I know it's not like mechanic heavy, but is it die heavy, or is it like one die and then like?
I would say the stuff like that, the like real, like I said, it's right now it's all conceptual. I'm trying to just like work out like, you know, how do you make your character sheet, you know, like what does a campaign look like, you know, how does the monster function, how does you know, like I'd say it's not really at that point. I've been talking about like you know, something like a dice scaling mechanic. You know, it could be like, you know, maybe if you're proficient in something, you might roll like a higher die or lower die. But that's, you know, I haven't even like fucked around with that at all yet. So I can't really say too much about, because I honestly I don't know yet.
So it's not as complex as say Enchanted Isles.
No, definitely not. Yeah, it would be, you know, it's right now, it's still very early in development. So who knows? Maybe it could get outrageously complicated. But the goal is to make it so, you know, it's something you break out. You don't need much. You know, you don't have to like learn rules or anything. You just make a character, and you know, the aspects of your character are, you know, like their personality, their fears, their beliefs. Those are the mechanics, because I wanted to put narrative on the forefront. You know, I wanted to be exactly.
Now, is a part of the game sort of like, hey, this is just between us?
And what do you mean by that? Oh, okay. I see. All right. Once you laughed, that tipped me off. Now I get it. Well, yeah, there is a grooming mechanic that's introduced in the later half of
I
the
want it to
game.
be so you can just pull it out and just
Yeah.
start playing.
You begin with a trusted elder who gradually, he sort of ingratiates himself to you, and you get points the more
The more you
open
resist.
up to him.
Oh,
Yeah, no, you have to succumb,
Yeah, just come all over his back.
You succumb, yeah. That's the game that Tom wants to play. Don't worry, I'll make that one for you.
Well, just when you're like, I just want it to be something you could just pull out and play, and then there's not a lot of struggling, you gotta get right through
You're
it.
You're the one that made it weird. I'm not gonna. That's all I'm gonna say. Yeah. You're
Anyway, Kenny, you have anything to add to that?
I'd be very good at that game.
Hell yeah.
That's so
Yeah, you'll be my first playtester. How about that?
Oh my God. Yeah, just you and me in a room.
Just
Come
me and
over.
you. We won't tell Tom. Don't tell Tom.
Yeah, please don't tell Tom.
please don't tell Tom. Please.
In all seriousness, though, like I like that you're working on it because you love games so much. But have you been? What inspired you to do a game instead of like say working on like a script or a book?
Well, I mean, one, I like games, so that's that's pretty easy. But two, it actually it came to me in a dream, weirdly enough. Like, yeah. Weird. Yeah, I had a dream that was like the specifics of the dream were, I was basically like an orphan in some kind of not a halfway house, it's like an orphanage. That's the word I'm looking for. And it was sort of ran by this big fucked up centipede monster man, and he was like taking care of all the kids. He was like super nice, but gradually, I don't want to get too into it, but like I learned more and more about this guy, and basically I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. I need to get out of here with my homies and my little brother, and we escaped into like this like weird fucked up landscape, and he was just like following us, trying to get us to come back. And I woke up and I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I was like, for the longest time I was like, what could I do with this? Would this be a good story? I think it could be, but I just thought it would be a very interesting game because there are role-playing games where you specifically play as children, and there are ones that are like sort of like fairy tale inspired, sure, but I don't think there are any, as far as I know, that are trying to do what I'm trying to do with this game, basically.
Very cool. Very cool. All right. So this brings us to our hour. I like to ask a question to the table. I'm going to start with Kenny because I know we'll just get it out of the way. It'll be quick and he'll just go, mm-hmm.
Kenny is precise,
Yeah.
He's I just ramble. I just fucking panic and talk out my ass. So
to be fair, Boody's episode has more views than Kenny's episode.
Oh, not that it's a contest.
It's not a contest. What do you think? What do you think the number's at? What do you think the viewage is?
Oh, for both?
Well, What do you think Boody's viewage is? I'm asking Kenny. Kenny, what do you think Boody's viewage for his episode's at?
Of what?
Of the podcast. He how you did a single? He did a single.
Are you talking about Let Me Be Round? Or are you talking
No,
about
the right mindset. The right mindset. The one you're on right now, but when you did your single.
What did I do for the single?
What are your numbers?
Remember we sat and we talked about the transporter?
Oh, yeah, I said that.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's probably at like 1,000. I'm probably at like 8.
You're exactly 8.
I think I'm at 10.
You are 10.
Yeah! That's what I'm talking about!
If only I said 3,487 more words per sentence.
That's right. I will say this. I pointed out because I had you both come on because I love you guys and you're my friends. It wasn't about using you for your views like some people, but I don't want to name them. Dun, 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 dun. But so...
Wow. I have some questions.
Woolery?
Who's he talking about?
Who? What? So anyway, I always ask the same question at the end of every episode. So Kenny, I'll ask you first. What is one piece of advice you discovered about writing, either through someone else or yourself, that completely changed the way you approach the writing process?
I used to just tell instead of show a lot. Used to be like, the room was orange, it was filled with smoke. And somebody was like, "No, you gotta show them, because that's how you relate easy. That's how you can get somebody to relate easier to it. Like it's like, okay, cool, you're telling me what's happening. The reader wants to experience what's happening. So onomatopoeias and setting up scenes with verbiage that really can drive home the point of making the reader feel what they're reading, as opposed to just read what story they're reading. If that makes any sense."
Yeah. Now, in a novel, though, you do want to have a nice mix of telling and showing. If it's all showing, it becomes monotonous, and you're not able to absorb information that's vital to the narrative itself. But you want to immerse people into the scenes with show, but you want to pull them through the story with tell. So there is a, but that's great that you discovered that, because if it's all tell, then you're basically writing a script in a novel.
Right.
Because that's what a script is. It's all tell. Like the action is tell, because whatever you write in the action beats is like what we need to physically see happening on the screen. Whereas in a novel, you need to be like, well, what is the character experiencing? So there could be empathy from the reader and stuff like that.
Right.
Great answer. Boody, same question I'll ask you. What is the one piece of advice you discovered about writing, either through someone else or yourself, that completely changed the way you approach the writing process?
Yeah, I think I got a pretty good one. So, it actually, I don't know if anyone really told me about it. It's something I just kind of discovered, and then, didn't really know what the deal was, and I looked more into it. But I'm super, super into beat boards these days. I think they're fucking invaluable when it comes to storytelling. At least that's for me. I'm not saying, there's no one wrong or right way to do anything. But if you're not familiar with a beat board, it's essentially like, imagine just like a big fucking sticky board, In fact, I think I got
You're talking about screenwriting, right? Not
yeah,
novel.
screenwriting. I mean, it could be for anything, I mean, I will say it is most commonly used for screenwriting.
Yeah.
But the idea is that like there are programs that do this, so you don't have to like waste like a million sticky notes. But if you're like me, I'm very tactile. I kind of like the whole sticky note thing. The idea is that you literally break down your story and all its components into little sticky notes. You might do like a major scene here, like a driving scene. Then they approach this destination. Then they have a conversation with this weird guy, and then there's like, oh, this is when something is revealed. And what's really nice about that is it's something that you could look at. Like whenever you're like lost in your story as you're writing it, you can always go back to that. And you can even rearrange things on the fly very, very easily. For me, it's easier to do it that way, to like rearrange your little sticky notes and then kind of lock in your script, than to do the opposite.
Yeah.
Because it's a fucking pain in the ass. I mean, that's what I used to do. I would just fucking write it, and then like you have to like reorganize everything. It's a fucking nightmare. Granted, you're gonna have to do that sometimes, no matter what. But as much as you can get down in the beginning, like iron out, like this is what happens, and you could get as specific or non-specific with them as you want. Like you could put down little snippets of dialogue in there. You could you're basically writing the roughest, goofiest fucking version of the story. It's like a mess of, colored notes and all that. I highly recommend it. It's best. It would make more sense to anyone if you saw one. So I'll just look up a beat board, an explanation on that. But yeah, if you're very tactile and, you like pretty colors and reorganizing things, recommend it. It made storytelling so much easier for me.
Yeah, we actually kind of did that with the circle, but we did a sheet. We did a spreadsheet, but it was basically the same thing, and it makes it so, because then when you're writing, you're just like, let me write that beat.
If I were to boil down what I said, organization. Like anytime you're stuck, like you're writing a script, you don't know what's going to come next, go back to your outlines. You want your entire story in that outline. Absolutely. I know that I've met so many people who fought me on that. They're like, you want to outline, then you want to do another outline, then you want to fucking do another. You just want to keep you just want to keep outlining. And the more of those you have, the more detailed they are, and the more set in stone they are. It gets to a point where you get to your fucking keyboard and you're like, and then you're it feels like you're cheating. Like,
yeah.
It almost feels like
flying.
you're just like fucking copying, pasting all the shit, because like when you write a script linearly, I feel like you kind of shoehorn yourself into, you hit bottlenecks. Whereas if you're doing an outline, if there's a part you're stuck on, you just fucking skip somewhere else.
It's an outline.
Exactly. And then it's with an outline, you're able to find those bottlenecks. You're like, okay, why am I getting stuck on this part? Like, what is it from getting here to here that like is holding me up, And when you have that in the outline, it's so much easier to change than, you write your fucking 120-page script and you realize that you have a problem, and then you got to rewrite everything,
Yeah, I like doing the a short form outline, which is basically what you were talking about, the people where you're just like, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. They meet here, and then I'll go back and I'll do an extended outline where I kind of like beat out those
absolutely
the single beat, and then from there I'll do discovery outlining where I take those scenes and that's when I start adding dialogue and I start adding like action and I'll start questioning myself a lot more. I'll give myself questions like, why is this happening? And then from there, that's when I can write my first draft when I deal with a novel or a script. And
I 100% agree with that. I'd say my only difference is that I do that all on the beat board. I just do a more, like the first one is very general. Then I sort of zoom in because I do it digitally. So, I don't have to worry about like a sticky note being like this big. Like I can just fucking.
My wall used to be white. Now it's yellow.
Yeah, so there's sticky notes. Yeah. No, I can, I can kind of zoom in as much as I want. Like I can put as many details as I want, and I like it because it's just makes it easy for me to just like, when a note is done, I can just go, whoop, be gone with you. Or, if I have a question, I could just slap it, and I could, it just makes it so you can move things around a lot easier.
Yeah, I like it. Very good. All right. So, Kenny, where can people find you?
Pretty much at _ Kenny Murdock across anything that you'd want to find me on.
All right. And for anyone listening on the audio, that's _ and then it's Kenny as in Kenny. His last name's Murdock, Murdock. All right. Excellent. Boody, how do they find you?
You could find me under the Twitch handle Neat Freaks. That's N33TFR33KS. So neat. Switch the threes, or rather the E's with threes, and you can find me there. We have a YouTube channel and we have a Twitch page. Presently not active, but we're looking to get back into it soon.
It is hysterical. I recommend giving it a little watch.
I appreciate it. I got to get you on it one of these days.
I would
have a lot of fun.
We'll just go crazy. We'll just talk about.
We'll just go.
Yeah, children games.
Yeah, exactly. No, the children games that you want to talk about.
Wait. We gotta go. For anyone who wants to pay attention to the visual, or you stop your car and you're really interested in checking these two blokes out, their information actually will be in the description. It'll be a link to Kenny's main site, and then the Twitch and the YouTube for the Thom of the Boody. Hey guys, I want to say thank you very much for being on the show. I love it. Appreciate it. You guys are great. All right, listen, anytime you guys want to come on, you just send my assistant an email, and
Daniel Michaels, right? No, he's not with us anymore, right?
Damn, he passed away.
Someone passed
Daniel Michaels.
No, right? Michael Daniels.
Michael Daniels, that's his name. Yeah.
No way, I think it is Michael Daniels. Yeah.
Michael Daniels. Is he you have a new one now? Or?
No.
He's back. Oh, he had a death hoax.
He had a death hoax. The other one still gets emails, and they're always, and I'm like, they don't work here anymore. They
I'll take over for this. You sending me feed pics.
Yeah. I'll send you feed pics, dollar feed pics. All right. Let me do my my final thoughts here. All right.
Okay.
So, listen, for anyone who's listening and paying attention to the show, we make a lot of jokes, but in reality, as you write and you discover your voice and what you're looking to do with your story writing technique, either through telling jokes, doing a movie, a book, or even, a game, if you're working on a physical game for somebody to play with, it's okay to do research and challenge yourself beyond what it is you know. You never know. You might actually find something that you feel kinship to or are decidedly interested in and grow as a writer. As a writer, our job is to be informed, because the more information we take in, either through people watching or research, the better we can expose the worlds that we're interested in telling through the stories of our characters and characters that have characters to characters. But in all truth, explore the information and grow as a writer by doing your research. I want to thank my two guests for coming on and being amazing. And I just, one of the best parts about doing this show is when I have my good friends on, I get to laugh, and it just becomes conversational, and that's the way to do. And with that, as always, keep developing the right mindset. I'll see you later. Bye.